and welcome. My name is Natalia. I am a mindfulness-based functional medicine registered dietitian, and one of my passions is gastrointestinal health, gut health. And why? Because a lot of people have come to me asking, Natalia, I have been told and I feel that I've been reading up on SIBO, which is Small Intestinal Bacterial Overgrowth, or I feel I have Candida, which is sometimes known as yeast overgrowth. So let's talk about those two, right? So overgrowths in the gut happen due to different reasons. But before I get to that, I want to tell you a little bit about your gut composition and how that can get out of balance, because pretty much SIBO, which is again, it's small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and yeast overgrowth, which is Candida, happens when our microbiome, which is the species that live in our gut, get out of balance. And why does that happen? Due to many different things, sometimes just life, stress, eating too much and frequently of the sugary processed foods, drinking. I know a lot of people who in their routine, they get home, they want to unwind, and while they're cooking dinner, they have maybe 1 or 2 glasses of wine, and maybe after dinner another one. Sometimes people are on certain medications, like antibiotics that are, believe it or not, do impact the intestinal health and also your overall health. And also a lot of people have been consuming supplements or foods that have ingredients that just put the whole integrity of the microbiome, which is, you want to think about your microbiome, which is the combination of species, as a rainforest, right? And then kind of just all that needs to be in balance so that there's a lot of trees and plants that are beautiful and communicating with each other, and so that a lot of healthy species can live there. So with SIBO and Candida, what happens is that these guys, we do have a little bit of yeast, Candida. We all have it. So we all have some of the bad guys, and it's okay as long as these guys are at ease. It's just, they're part of us. We are made out of microbes, believe it or not. The whole goal is to keep the unhealthy one at bay so that they don't become more and in more abundance than the healthy ones. So because if that happens, then we tend to be bloated, we tend to sometimes be super constipated or have diarrhea or just unhealthy bowel movements or just bowel health. So if you're struggling with these symptoms and also just feel fatigued, then maybe you end up wake up. So a very typical sign of SIBO is that you wake up flat in your stomach, and by the end of the day, you feel like you're pregnant and you're like, what just happened, right? Or maybe you bloat, after you eat. And that is a very typical sign of SIBO. Sometimes there's a little bit of a pain by the left side of the rib cage, and that is an indicative of SIBO again, and it's just gas accumulating there, because SIBO tends to be one of the species that just produces gas. So if that is one of your symptoms over here at the clinic, we really know how to treat that. I see that day in and day out at the clinic, and it's just about identifying what are we dealing with, because the treatment for SIBO is going to be different than the treatment for Candida, which is another species that when people are eating sugary foods and they've been under stress and they drink a lot of alcohol, or they've been under the treatment of antibiotics, or just maybe something in their life just changed that really triggers stress. So the yeast will be a very opportunistic pathogen that will just come in and take over, and will really kind of take over a little bit of you, from the inside. So symptoms for yeast are sugar cravings, hormonal imbalances, anxiety, sometimes depression, chemical sensitivities, food sensitivities. But sometimes people with SIBO experience this as well, but they're just treated differently. So when you come and see us, we have different options about going and treating these. You can test via a stool test, which I'm very passionate about. Yes, I get excited about poop, and believe it or not, the reason why is because we know what's going on, and then once we know what is going on, we select the treatment. And this treatment includes eating certain foods and avoiding some foods that are feeding these overgrowths. And listen, I'm a realist. I'm not gonna ask you to give up a food for the rest of your life, but it's important that if it's important enough for you to make a change in your life and feel better and not feel bloated and not feel constipated or just really be blowing up when you need to go to the bathroom and you can't find the bathroom, to get you well. So my job is to get you well by educating you and bringing the awareness of what is feeding these unhealthy pathogens, right? Which again, today we're talking about SIBO and Candida, and what you can do that is under your control to turn it around. There's also a good amount of herbs that have been proven in the literature and that we use to kill off the bad guys, the SIBO and the Candida, and bring in the good guys. Because if we kill off the bad guys, we want to make sure that the better guys are coming in. So it's a whole protocol that I'm very excited to share with you as you come for treatment, and that you know that you can have a days of no bloat with the energy. And believe it or not, if we really are able to narrow down what is it that you're dealing with, that probably your mental health will improve. I don't know if you're aware of this, but SIBO as well as Candida can cause an imbalance in the gut-brain axis. This is a channel that has been identified by many scientists many years ago, and it's again the gut-brain axis. So what happens here is that if the bacteria in the gut is out of balance, then the neurotransmitters over here in the brain are gonna be out of balance. For example, serotonin, about 75% of serotonin is made in the gut. So guess what? You may have some symptoms of maybe depression, anxiety, maybe just mood imbalances, and it's maybe related to your gut. So what I see a lot when people are treated for these overgrowths is that they feel better all around, not just they have a flat stomach and they feel good and they lose weight and they're able to have regular bowel movements and energy, but their mood also improves and they become happier and healthier, and they get into the swing of just living a healthier, happy life, which I think is the goal for all of us, right? So excited to see you here at the clinic and help you get rid of SIBO and Candida for you to have a healthy gut and also live a happy, healthy life.